show you a quick video on how to build up your lasts. We're going to use a product called Milliput, which is really great if you want to change the toe shape into maybe a slightly more pointed shape, or in this case I'm going to do a square shape. So come on over and let's get started. Alright, so Milliput has two parts to it and you need to mix equal parts together. So we'll take about that much of that one and the same in the other one. Something like that. And then we're just going to mix and mix and mix until the two are completely combined. Alright, so once you can see that the two colours have completely merged into one, it's then ready to start shaping onto the last. So I'm going to basically build this up into a nice square toe shape. I always like to do this just bit by bit. Once you've really roughly built up the shape, you can take a little knife and just start smoothing it out a little bit while it's still malleable. Okay, once you've got it to about this stage, you can actually flip it over and just check that it's even. I can see that there's quite a bit more on this side than there is here. So I'm just going to try and scrape a bit more off. And I'm just going to start making some slight adjustments there. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how the sides are looking here, but it's now this area there that's really, really thick. So I want to just smooth that out as much as I can. So I'm going to start by sort of pinching it here so that it's a little bit thinner. And then I can start taking some more weight off the top. At this stage, we're trying to get it as close to perfect as possible, but it's really once it sets and we can sand it that we can get the shape exactly how we want it. Once you've got the shape more or less how you want it, we're actually going to let that set for 24 hours. This Milliput, which is still quite malleable at the moment, is going to dry rock hard like cement, at which stage we are going to sand it really nice and smooth to get the perfect finish. One other thing to mention at this stage is try not to add too much length to the toe, because that will actually end up changing the size of the last. So just make sure you're not overlapping the top of the last there too much. Unless of course you're doing a pointed shoe, but just make sure you don't overdo it. Okay, so let's let that dry. Here's one we prepared earlier. This one you can see we've already started to sand it down a little bit here. It's really quite as simple as just taking the sandpaper and just rubbing it over the Milliput. You can see that's really rock hard there now. it actually sands really, really well, and that's super smooth there now. I just want to make sure I get it really smooth the whole way around. You can see at the toe that I've made that really nice and slim in there now, and that's really nice and smooth across the top of the last. So one question people ask us quite often is, can we get this off? And the answer is yes. You're going to want to take a hammer and give it a good whack to get it off. Quite often what you can do is save the pieces. So here are some that we've knocked off from a previous last, and you can actually just glue them back on sort of like that to create that square shape so that you can reuse them in the future. And that's it. That's how we build up a toe with milliput. We'll also be doing another video showing how we can build up the width of lasts using leather, which is a slightly different process, but works just as well.